And now, in studio, bringing his Midwest values from the Show Me State to the land of San Diego. He's a triple threat, licensed as an attorney, mortgage broker, and a top producing realtor who's crushing the competition. Here to deliver you what's happening in the trenches of the market. Your host, Michael Gaddis.
Welcome to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM1170 The Answer. I am your host, Michael Gaddis, San Diego's real estate expert. As my intro indicated, I am a top producing realtor, a licensed California attorney, and an NMLS licensed mortgage broker. Before we get started, let's get a little housekeeping out of the way. My phone number is 888-242-2272. That's 888-242-2272. You can contact me via email at michael@michaelgaddis.com. That's michael@michaelgaddis.com. And my website for more information about me is www.michaelgaddis.com. Well, we have a great show today. I even have a special in-studio guest for you guys today. He's going to be in the third segment, so I think you're going to be really excited about that. But let's jump right into it. Recently, I saw a magazine that caught my eye. It's called Discover North County magazine. It is an exceptional magazine. It is a really well put together deal. I mean, it's sent to La Jolla, Rancho Santa Fe, Del Mar, Solana Beach, Carlsbad, and Encinitas. And it's one of those local type magazines that you get. It has articles and, local, advertisements and things like that. But I think what caught my eye the most about it was just the high quality of it. It's a very artistic looking magazine, and the articles are really top notch. If you see this magazine around, you should really take a chance and stop by and pick it up. And I think you'll be glad you did. I want to start with an article that I read just recently. It was on KPBS, and it has to do with schools. We all know in the real estate industry that schools are really important to homeowners. But what I bet a lot of people don't know is that according to this article, is that school proximity matters in that the closer you are, your house physically is to the school, the less it's worth. So it says home values sink the closer the properties are to a campus, especially a private school, according to Professors Stephen Conroy and Andrew Norwold and Associate Professor Vivek Saw of USD's Burnham Moore's Center for Real Estate. They based their conclusions on more than 20,000 residential housing sales in 2010 and 11 in San Diego. And what it says is this. It says that homes located within 500 feet of a school sell for about 6.7% less than other neighborhood homes. So the net negative becomes even larger when it's private schools, where if the same house is within 500 feet of a private school, the house price decreases by 14.4%. That's really amazing. I mean, the fact that being that close to a school really decreases a home's value. A lot of people think that basically that the closer to the school, the better. But it seems like, the noise and all the associated issues related to being so closely located to a campus it really affects the value. It says that, there's a difference between the public schools and private schools because it says public schools are often more accessible and open to surrounding homes, allowing homeowners to benefit from proximity more than private schools. So there's definitely a stark difference between being located close to a private versus a public school. So it says, on the other hand, home price rises about 0.755% for each 1,000 feet of distance from a school. So that's really interesting. I mean, a lot of times when I personally have buyers, the fact that that the house is closely, is located close to a school is definitely an advantage. Now, being maybe across the street or behind a school might not necessarily be a prime location, but a lot of the homeowners that I deal with, they actually like to be, within a good walking distance of the school. So this study that came out kind of contradicts a lot of what I experience in my own everyday practice. Moving on, there was an article by Realtor.com that listed the 20 hottest U.S. real estate markets in August of 2015. So they listed the top 20 hottest U.S. real estate markets. Now, San Diego is among those. It is listed as the number 7 hottest real estate market in the United States, according to Realtor.com. And what I found interesting about the top 20 is that 11 of the top 20 are located in California. Number 1 being San Francisco. Then it's followed by Dallas, Denver, Vallejo, California is next, then Santa Rosa, California, then San Jose, number 6, and number 7, San Diego, California. I thought that was really remarkable. It's very consistent with what we've been talking about the past few weeks about the real estate market here in San Diego. It is definitely a very hot market. So if you are thinking about selling your house, it seems that all indications are pointing that you need to do so sooner rather than later so you can ride this wave of hotness that every article that we've been talking about for the past 2 to 3 weeks is saying is going on. So I'm going to jump over to some hot listings of the week. As you know, I service real estate throughout the county, and I think my 3 listings of the week will probably pretty much give you an indication of that. I want to start in Carmel Valley. I spoke about this house last week, and we have been getting a lot of visitation to it. So if you want this particular property, you better put an offer in on it really quickly or it might be gone. It's located at 4251 Pilon Point in San Diego, California. It is zip code 92130. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,533 square foot home. It is an amazing house. When you walk in, it's got a tremendous energy. You have this grand staircase that winds up. It's open floor plan. The house feels a lot larger than 2,533 square feet. One of the best things about this house, though, no Melrose, no HOA. No Melrose, no HOA. That is, to me, that's a huge selling point for this particular house. The home was built in 1987 and has been really well maintained. It actually has 2 pretty amazing features to it. One being the upstairs bedroom. One of the upstairs bedrooms is super large. I mean, it's so large you could literally divide it in 2 and make it a 5-bedroom house if you really wanted to. And then it also has a downstairs bedroom with a bathroom right next door to it that if you wanted to, you could open up the wall and create an ensuite. So I think that, if you're interested in buying a house in Carmel Valley, right now it's listed at $989,000. And let me tell you something, that averages out to be around $390 a square foot. That's a steal in that area. It is literally a steal. You really need to get out there if you're looking for a house in Carmel Valley before it's too late. You're going to regret it if you don't get there. Now I'm going to jump us over to Alpine. I have a listing located at 707 Camino Scarpitta in Alpine, California. And this is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house. It has 3,227 square feet, and it's currently listed with a range listing of $679 to $699. This is another exceptional house. This was custom built by the sellers, and it has a panoramic view. I mean, panoramic. If you want to live in Alpine, this is a house you want. It has literally a panoramic view of the valley and canyon. It is so nice, and it is an entertainer's dream. This house has so many things. It has a 4-hole golf putting green, a bocce court, a horseshoe courts, built-in barbecues, outdoor kitchens. This thing was made for people who enjoy the outside. So if you're thinking about moving to Alpine, check this one out too before it's gone, because even at its price per square foot, which is around $200 a square foot, it's not going to last long. So if you're looking to go there, do it fast. Now I'm going to jump us over to Lakeside for a minute because I have a new listing which is coming up today. It's going on to the market today, in fact. So it's listed at $449,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,340 square foot home. It is an exceptional view lot home as well. I mean, when you walk into this house, and when I visited the house, I walked in and I walked through the kitchen into the living room, and I saw the big sliding door, and all I saw were like mountains, and it was just incredible. I had to stand there for a second because I didn't really expect to see that. And it like the house in Alpine is an entertainer's dream. It has a very nice pool in the backyard, built-in barbecue. It has a lot of features like that. It has RV parking, and this lot's huge. This lot is absolutely huge. It has a whole full quarter acre on the bottom part you could use for whatever you want to use it for. So if you're looking for views, that's the house to go to. So if you are interested in any one of these three houses, please feel free to give my office a call at 888-242-2272 or send me an email for more information on it at michael@michaelgaddis.com. Or you can get more information on these houses on my website at www.michaelgaddis.com. So if you've been thinking about selling your house, you will definitely want to stay tuned. After the break, I'm going to talk about what you need to do to get your house ready to sell. You are listening to The Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer.
AM 1170 The Answer.
Craig Sewing here, host of The Craig Sewing Show. I want you to think in your head for a minute. How much money did you make last year? Here's a better question. How much money did you keep? In other words, how much of your hard-earned money was for you rather than giving it away to this inefficient government of ours? If you think the government's inefficient, I got a challenge for you. I'm going to challenge your efficiency with your tax plan. My good friend Doug Jennings, who you hear on KCBQ all the time, is a savant when it comes to tax planning. As Doug puts it, Craig, I've never even seen a tax return I can't improve. Doug can help you keep more of your money, help you improve your structure for your taxes, your business, your real estate, even your marriage. Why wouldn't you take a moment to get a free consultation? It can save you thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars. He's not really a friend of the IRS, but I'm a consumer advocate. I want him helping you. This is something you got to do. Visit JenningsTaxLaw.com for a free consultation on your tax plan. That's JenningsTaxLaw.com. You can thank me later. Doug is a great person, a great professional. He and his wife Peggy are friends of mine. I give him my highest recommendation, JenningsTaxLaw.com. Visit him today. Hey, Craig Sewing here, consumer activist. You hear me every day at 6 p.m. on KCBQ. My goal is to help you win in any marketplace. One of the things that applies to every single person that listens to our show and that's listening right now, you have a credit score, and more likely than not, it has inaccuracies on it. Nobody seems to understand how these things work. Here's what I can tell you. I have a credit expert that's a partner in the show named Aran Sinai. I call him the credit magician. If you've ever had any issues with your credit, you want to get your scores up, maybe a foreclosure, bankruptcy, or maybe just a collection. You know, the city of San Diego can send parking tickets to collections. Crazy. Well, bad credit's a choice. Reach out to Aran Sinai. How do you do that? You go to our website, AmericanDreamElite.com. AmericanDreamElite.com. Hit me up on the contact form. I'll connect you with Aran. AmericanDreamElite.com. If you've ever had any credit issues whatsoever, AmericanDreamElite.com.
Welcome back. This is the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer, and I am your host, Michael Gaddis of www.michaelgaddis.com, San Diego's real estate expert. So before I talk a little bit about what you need to do to sell your house, I want to talk about something that I think is really important for everyone to hear. It has to do with homeowners who are in a little bit of distress. Recently, I've been getting a lot of calls in my office related to delinquencies. And a lot of the people who are delinquent are not necessarily underwater. They have a lot of equity in their house, yet they're facing, 4, 5, 6 month delinquencies. So the problem is that a lot of these people are not eligible for loan modifications, so they need to sell their house. But the problem is by waiting too long, you kind of put yourself in a situation of duress because you're always under the gun that basically the lender is going to slap down a notice of default and start the foreclosure proceedings really quickly. And that's not something you really want to happen if you can avoid it, because Once your property gets stigmatized as having a notice of default, believe me, the psychology of the buyer is a lot different. They know that there's some distress on your part, and they definitely are going to take that into consideration when making their offer. So my advice to everyone out there who is struggling on their loan, on their mortgage payments right now, and if you have a lot of equity, the first thing you need to really do is come to terms with whether or not you're actually going to be able to obtain a loan modification. Because, as I tell people sometimes, if you're not going to be able to qualify, you're wasting a lot of time basically chasing leprechauns and unicorns when you should be doing damage control and basically trying to take advantage of the time that you have. So what you need to do is really select somebody to help you sell your house that knows what they're doing. Because in a situation like that, you have two things going on. You have the regular real estate marketing aspect of it, and then you have the keep the bank off your back aspect to it, because you really need to keep the bank busy while you're trying to sell your house, because if you don't, they could literally speed up your timeline and cause you to sell, under fire. And I just wanted to mention that because I've been getting so many more calls on it recently, and it's starting to be alarming to me that so many people are in danger of losing so much equity. I had somebody call me yesterday. She has almost $1 million in equity in her house, and she has a $1.5 million loan, and she has her house is worth 2.7. She has $1 million in equity, and she's now 8 months late because she's been chasing a loan mod. And I told her, I said, look, you got to really make a choice, because you stand to lose too much. So, if you run into a situation like that, please give me a call at my office, because this is kind of my niche. My niche is helping people who are in trouble try to sell their houses and try to get as much as they can out of it before things really, really hit the fan. So anyway, let's jump in now so you want to sell your house. You're probably asking, what are some of the things that you need to do to get ready to sell your house? Well, the very first thing you need to do is make that decision that you want to sell your house. I mean, I know that sounds simple, but sometimes it can be a struggle, and you really have to come to terms with that if you want to sell it or not. Once you do that, then you really need to select a real estate agent. Now, here's the deal. When you are selecting a real estate agent, I know what happens whenever somebody, is thinking about selling their house. If you're in your living room with your wife and you're having a discussion, we should sell our house. Before you even get the words out, your phone rings, and it's your Aunt Nellie who says, "Hey, I heard you're selling your house." How do you know, Aunt Nellie? We just made that decision right now. Then your door, there's a knock on your door, and Bob from the gym is there saying, "Hey," he's still in his gym outfit, right? And he's like, "Hey, I heard you guys are going to sell your house." So I mean, it's like, really, when you make that choice, like, real estate agents are going to fall out of the woodwork. They're like termites. They're everywhere. So, but what you need to do is make sure you're picking the right one. And there's a lot of factors that go into that. And one of the first things I always tell people is, do not pick your friends and family. Because keep business and keep your family. Because I have seen too many times when money and real estate transactions has gotten in between relationships. And although a lot of them might get upset if you don't necessarily choose them, trust me, in the long run, they'll get over that more than they'll get over if something goes wrong in the transaction. That can be something that can cripple your relationship forever. So I would just, if it were me, number one, keep business as business, no friends and family. The next thing you need to do is interview at least 2 to 3 agents. Every agent has different, marketing tactics. They have different personalities. They bring to the table different things. You really need to make sure that the person you choose is the one that fits right for your personality and what your objectives are. Ask the people you're interviewing, what are your marketing tactics? Are they using archaic tactics of marketing, or are they in tune with modern marketing methods? As we talked about last week on the show, the National Association of Realtors had that report on generational trends for buyers and sellers. It went down a list of where the people are finding houses. And I think that it's really important that you make sure that your real estate professional is in line with the statistics, because statistics basically tell you and guide you what you need to be doing. You also want a realtor that is going to work for you, not use you. Many real estate agents will use your house as a primary platform for getting new business. Basically, it's going to be their new office, and their pitch is they want to try to get new listings from everybody in the neighborhood, and they want to try to get as many buyers as they can out of it. I mean, that is a goal. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of value to doing open houses, but it can somewhat be abused, and sometimes you'll even get the feeling that, are you trying to sell my house, or are you trying to sell you? You want to make sure whoever's selling your house is selling for you. That's what they have. They have to be focused on your objective, not their objective. And the other thing I would say is stay away from part-time real estate agents. Look for professionals. There are over 20,000 real estate licenses in San Diego County alone. So a lot of those are part-time people that have, regular jobs and they do it on the side. What you really want when you sell your house is you want a professional. You want someone who's going in there and they're a machine. They walk in there, they say, I got this under control. You want to feel confident that you got the right person. You don't want somebody who says, oh, well, let me check, or let me do this, or anytime you see hesitation, you might want to go to somebody and find somebody who is pretty confident. The other thing is, don't get caught up solely with big name companies. Smaller boutique real estate companies can provide equal, if not superior service. So don't be caught up in brands because I'll assure you that there's a lot of smaller boutiques that are much easily or very qualified to sell your house. And another thing is choose someone that fits your personality. Now, selling a house, there's a lot of stress, and there can be anxiety, and there's going to be a lot of intense periods of time with negotiations. You want to make sure whoever you're hiring fits well with your personality, because you don't want to butt heads with somebody over things. You want to have a clear communication channel, and you want to make sure that the person that you pick is right for you. The next thing I want to say is don't get pressured into signing a listing agreement until you're ready. Selling a house is not supposed to feel like buying a used car. And here's the deal. A lot of real estate agents are trained to get you to sign on that line and not to leave the house until you sign. And I don't think that selling a house should be like that. I think it should be an educated decision. I think that you should do your due diligence. You should feel free to interview other people. When I interview for listings, I always tell people, go ahead, interview other people. I want you to know what I bring to the table. I want you to know how different I am than other people. And the only way I can be sure you appreciate that is by you interviewing other agents. So by all means, bring as many of them in as you want. I'm not afraid of that. So if you get into a situation where someone's afraid of that, then they're probably not the right person. So don't be sold. The next thing you need to really do is keep in mind the psychology of buyers. What are they looking for? How do they think? How do they react to things? You need to understand that basically, buyers, when they look for houses, they're guided by their real estate agent, and they already have their preconceived notions and things. So one of the things I always tell my clients is, hey, why don't we take a look around before we list your house? We'll pretend you're buying a house in your price range. Let's go and act like buyers. Let's go look at 3 or 4 houses that are our competition. Let's see what they have going on. Let's critique these houses, because the same way you're going to critique these houses is the same way I want you to look at your house. I want you to be objective. I want you to take all your personal feelings. I realize it took you, 3 years to paint that wall or build that fence, but you got to take the emotion out of it. So that's really important. And then I think it's really important to examine your house. Be objective and listen to advice. Don't be offended if your real estate professional tells you, well, this doesn't look right or that doesn't look right. Examine your curb appeal. Your curb appeal is the first thing that buyers see when they pull up. And if you have something wrong, it sets the tone for the entire visit. I mean, if you have some peeling paint up top, or you have something going wrong that they can see, like an oil stain that's somewhere, or dirt or cobwebs all over, it's going to set the tone in their mind that you have deferred maintenance on your house. You don't take care of your house, and they're going to examine it in a different way than if they go pull up to your house and see a really, really nice curb appeal. And it really doesn't take much to fix the things that could cause problems. Make sure your yard is weeded. Make sure there's no peeling paint, as I mentioned. Make sure that your wood fence doesn't have any wood rot on it. Make sure that your gutters are dusted, and make sure the spider webs are off. Little things like that go a long way with buyers, and it's just a matter of keeping them in a positive frame of mind through your house. Next thing, neutralize the inside. Depersonalize it. So if you have red walls and you love your red walls, well, that doesn't mean other people love your red walls. And so what you need to do is really neutralize it, because as I mentioned in the last show, a lot of people look at your house on the internet. So when they're looking on the internet, what do they see? Pictures. And if they see red walls, you know what they're going to do? Next. They're just going to go breeze right on by. And I know what you're thinking. Well, it's just a coat of paint and $25. You can go down there and fix the red wall. Well, so can you. And that's my advice to you, to neutralize those really kind of, high intensity colors. I think it'll really go a long way to selling your house. Also depersonalize it. Take a lot of your own pictures and some of your, religious paraphernalia, and just kind of put it away for a while. We want the buyers to walk in there and get the feeling that this is their house. We want them to imagine that they can put their stuff places. And when they see pictures of you and things like that around, it kind of brings them back to the reality that this is not their house. So that's what you want to create. You want to create that atmosphere that this is their house. And another thing, take clutter out. Make rooms function as they were intended. Get a storage unit if you have to. If you have a bedroom with 85 pieces of workout equipment, get a storage unit and put it in there, and make the room what it's supposed to be, because that's how people want to see it when they view houses. And the last piece of advice is just be reasonable. There are a lot of unreasonable sellers out there. Just make sure that where you price your house is reasonable and that you're not, going over the top and putting your intrinsic emotional value into it. And as long as you do those things, it'll go a long way to selling your house in this really, really hot market. So after the break, I have a surprise for you. Especially for those of you who love fine dining. Visiting in studio, I have the general manager of one of San Diego's premier restaurants. He's going to come in and tell you everything you ever wanted to know about Vigilucci's and Leucadia. You are listening to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM1170 The Answer.
If you've got questions, we've got answers. AM1170 The Answer.
Hey, San Diego, Craig Sewing here. Look, one of the things that nobody likes to hear is that they got bugs in their home. Almost all California homes have some sort of bug or termite problem. It's not a cool thing to have bugs running around your house, so I'm going to help you get rid of them. I want you to connect with Lloyd's Pest Control. These are our good friends of the Craig Sewing Show. They can help you. They've been in business putting bugs out of business since 1931. They'll do a free inspection for you. If you want to get your biggest investment checked out, make sure there's not bugs or termites, go to LloydPest.com. That's LloydPest.com and get a free inspection of your real estate today.
Going through divorce can be very stressful. It is important to know your rights. I'm attorney Ilona Antonian. I'm a certified family law specialist. For over a decade, I've been helping San Diegans win their divorce and custody cases. If you have questions about divorce, property division, child or spousal support, modification of orders, or find yourself in a custody battle, please call us at 619-696-1100. Find us online at expertdivorcelaw.com, where you can download our free divorce, mediation, and recovery guides that I hope you find useful.
Are you in the military or a veteran and need to sell your home for top dollar? Well, first and foremost, thank you for your service. I'm Craig Sewing. When it comes to selling homes for military members or our vets, there are agents who are out there trying to do it, but my man, Marine Captain John Reeves with Reef Point Real Estate is the guy. Ask Marine Gunnery Sergeant Steve Allu, who sold his home through John Reeves at 106% of list price, just 10 days on the market. You really don't risk anything. If you're not happy, you can fire John anytime. John outsells the average agent 40-1. If you've served in our military, thank you for your service. I only recommend John Reeves to help you when you're buying or selling. Here's his number, 858-746-9214. 858-746-9214. Or you can visit him online, johnhasallthebuyers.com. johnhasallthebuyers.com. Connect with Marine Captain John Reeves if you've served in the military and you're interested in real estate.
Welcome back to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM1170 The Answer. I am your host, Michael Gaddis of www.michaelgaddis.com. Hey, I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about something near and dear to my heart, food. Like many of you, I enjoy eating out. To me, eating out is not just about the food, though. It's also about the experience. I love restaurants that have atmosphere and character. Today in studio, I have a very special guest from my favorite restaurant in all of San Diego. This restaurant has it all: fantastic food, romantic ambiance, and incredible service. My special guest is Vittorio Hamburger, the General Manager of Vigilucci's in Leucadia. Vittorio, what is it about Vigilucci's that makes it so special?
Hi, Michael. Actually, it's you. Friends like you. I need more people like you, actually, to think. The same way. Actually, if we are successful, I think because we have loyal customers who loves us for our food, as you said, but service and love we share to them. So honestly, the secret is just love.
Well, let me ask you a question that I think we're all wondering. Is your accent real?
I try to fake it. Actually, it's real.
Well, you're doing a great job. Are you from Italy?
I'm from Turin, actually.
Oh, right.
Very close to Milan. Yes, I'm from Italy.
Oh, wow.
And going back to your question, if I may, we have actually 4 locations. May I talk to you about locations?
Absolutely.
So the closest one to you guys here in San Diego is in Coronado. Then we have 3 locations in North County, actually 2 in Carlsbad and 1 in Leucadia, is where I work actually, in Encinitas, Leucadia. The difference between my location and the other location basically is that we get 90% of locals rather than tourists. The other location, they get more tourists. So basically, for me, it's a pleasure to work there. I love to work there because I can talk to locals all the time. They come in my restaurant 3-4 times a week. We really share love together. So honestly, I'm very happy about it.
Well, I've had the pleasure of going to at least 2 of the Vigilucci's locations. I've been to the one in Carlsbad, the steakhouse in Carlsbad, and I've been to your Leucadia location. And I will tell you that I love them both, but I especially love the atmosphere in your restaurant. I don't know what it is, but when I walk through the door, because Leucadia is known for being a beach community. It has that beachy, surfy feel to it. But when you walk through the doors of Vigilucci's in Leucadia, it's a completely different experience than what you would expect.
Because they have me.
No, it's an amazing place. And in fact, the last time I was there, I had the fried calamari as an appetizer and the rack of lamb for dinner. Now, I've eaten fried calamari at a lot of places, but I'm going to tell you, the fried calamari at Vigilucci's is so good. And I mean that. Tell me why the food is so good at your restaurant.
I mean, talking about the fried calamari, our fryer doesn't share the oil with so many items like the most of the restaurants, so it doesn't get the flavors from other food. So honestly, the food, the quality is high. Mr. Vigilucci, Roberto Vigilucci, is famous in our business because actually he provides high quality food. So honestly, there's not so much secret. The sauce, our marinara sauce.
Oh, it's so good.
It's the best around. And then the quality, paradise quality, are the best quality around for fried calamari. And the oil, as I said before, makes the difference.
Well, who determines the menu and how often does it change?
We are a company, the team wins all the time. So honestly, we sit down together and we talk about what to improve. Actually, the customer are the one who actually make the menu. Because if you don't order something, we start thinking why you don't order something. So we decide to replace it with something better for you.
Well, another thing I really love about your location is the ambiance. The building itself is really unique. I mean, when I was there last, you took me on a tour of the building. And, as I mentioned to you earlier, when I walked through the doors, it's like an elegant fine dining restaurant. And you've got this wood burning pizza oven over here. And then you took me downstairs and literally I thought I was brought to Europe or something like that.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the building.
Actually, indeed, that place is awesome. Actually, we have a very strange layout, but beautiful in the same time. So when you walk in, you have the main dining room, and people think we have just that area actually. But the main dining room actually has a beautiful piano as well. So we do piano bar every night. We actually have a great pizza in the same area, pizza oven, wood fire oven. Then the back, as you said, is so beautiful. It reminds me Italy, France, beautiful courtyards. We have private rooms where you can actually have your own whatever events. Actually, is one of the best layout on Leucadia. I don't think there's another restaurant like that.
I have never seen a restaurant like that. I mean,
No.
So you do rent out those rooms downstairs for special events?
For corporation, for birthday party, just for regular dining. You just walk in. You said, I heard you have a nice room in the back. May I take a look? I want, and trust me, as soon as you see it, oh my God, you want to have dinner there.
No, I when you showed it to me, I was like in awe. I can't even believe this exists here.
I fell in love with the restaurant as soon as I moved there.
Well, we're talking to Vittorio Hamburger, the general manager of Vigilucci's in Leucadia. You know, my wife swears that she has never had a better pomegranate martini than the one she's had at your restaurant. Every single time we go out to dinner, she orders a pomegranate martini, she tastes it, and tells me, it's not as good as the one at Vigilucci's. And then I have to end up finishing it because she doesn't like it. The only one she can finish is yours. Why is that?
Wow, you put me in a bad spot now talking about booze. Actually, training, quality of the product. My bartenders are awesome bartenders, so they really know what to do. And they got trained very well. So basically, and love, as I said before, you need to love what you do. So there's no another secret, I think. Fresh ingredient, that's all is the key.
Fresh ingredients, yeah, that's amazing. I think the other thing I see whenever I go to your restaurant, and I know that this happens at a lot of fine dining, the general manager will go around and talk to people, and I don't know what it is, if it's just your amazing personality or what, but when you go around, one, I feel that you sincerely care about how our dinner is going, and two, I always see you like really engaging in long, conversations, people are laughing and stuff like that. I mean, what kind of restaurant, how did you become a general manager?
By luck. No, I'm kidding. Actually, I've been working this business since I was 14. Now I'm 47. Honestly, growing up in a cruise line in hotel business, I learned that our business, our life is a show business. So you have to make people comfortable and happy. And usually, actually, I see people in front of me at the table, and I see myself there. I see my mom, my sister. So I want them experience. So honestly, I want for them the best. So if everybody think in the same way, I think it would have been the best business in the world. So
well, I think that rubs off a lot on your servers, because whenever I go there, I feel like a rock star. I mean, I literally feel like your servers think I'm their most important table there, and I think a lot of that comes from you. So how do you train your servers?
I go actually often through training, talking about sharing emotions. Be real, first of all. Don't fake anything in life. So love people, really deeply love people. So make people happy. So the most of the people that I know in the business don't think too much, maybe sometimes, about going deep in the soul of people. So they just talk about technique. They just want to serve them, make everything right. But honestly, you should go beyond, become friends.
Well, I have a special way of gauging service at restaurants. It's my own little trick. My roommate in college was a server, so he used to do this same trick when he gauged him. I drink water a lot, and I don't drink Coke or sodas or anything like that. So I drink water. I judge my service by if my water glass is filled up. So if it continues to be filled up, I know that I'm getting good service. If I have to look around and try to wave somebody down for water, I know that someone's not paying attention to me. And at Vigilucci's, I never have to worry about my water glass being filled. It's like I take a drink and it's filled before it hits the table. I mean, it's absolutely remarkable what you guys are doing up there.
Thank you. We try our best. Thank you.
Well, in my line of work, referrals are important. As a real estate broker, my livelihood depends on referrals. And so I understand the importance of them. And I frequently refer people to Vigilucci's in Leucadia. And I'll tell you, I cannot tell you how many times they have called me and thanked me for sending them over to you guys. I mean, whatever you're doing over there is really, really exceptional, and you're doing a great thing, and you guys really keep it up because and here's the thing. It's this restaurant is located in Leucadia, but I don't think it really matters because I think no matter where you are in San Diego County, it's worth a trip to visit this restaurant. This is a very unique place, and obviously it's got a very unique general manager there, and I think you would do yourself a disjustice if you never took the time to go and visit this location. So, Vittorio, let me ask you, do you have any promotions or specials for any of our listeners?
Definitely yes, Michael. So whoever is going to be coming our location and mention this show is going to get 15% off.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's a very generous offer.
Yes, I think is a good offer. And then we love to meet new people. And thank you, Michael, for for having us today.
Oh, no, it's really great. I'm really glad you guys came in. And, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your restaurant before we go?
That honestly, our restaurant, I feel, is a mom and pop restaurant. So, and I love to keep the restaurant that way. It's not a restaurant where, like a big corporation restaurant where people, there are order takers, food runners, they don't know anybody. I want to meet personally everybody. That's why I go table by table to meet them. They come back for the show, for love. So that is, I think, is the most important thing.
Well, let me ask you one question before our segments up here. What does Trattoria Italiana mean? Because that's what it says. Vigilucci's Trattoria Italiana.
I've been asked this question a lot of times. Honestly, hopefully I'm going to give the right answer. But as an Italian guy, usually we go at Trattoria, Osteria. There are small locals places to eat, so basically mom and pop
community-based
It's like ours, actually. You never call usually Trattoria a big and monster restaurant. Usually they are small and nice, intimate, very warm.
Well, you have definitely created a very warm restaurant up there. So I want to thank Vittorio, the general manager of Vigilucci's in Leucadia, for stopping by today. For more information about Vigilucci's, visit www.vigiluccis.com, or better yet, call 760-634-2365. Ask for Vittorio and tell him that Michael Gaddis sent you. After the break, learn more about the myths and misconceptions about perhaps the most enigmatic loan product on the market today, reverse mortgages. We'll be right back.
Hearts who play tippy tippy.
This is AM 1170 The Answer.
What if you could safely grow your retirement account with a reasonable rate of return with no risk of principal? Hi, this is Dave Harris with Wealth Preservation, specializing in retirement income and insurance planning. There's nothing I enjoy more than helping San Diegans protect and grow their retirement savings. For over 4 decades, we have helped families achieve financial success. If you need help with your retirement planning, please visit me online or call me today. My number is 800-313-PLAN, or visit me online at wealthpreservationllc.com.
Hi, this is AJ Gupta from the Gupta Legal Center. You've probably seen us on the American Dream TV show and the Craig Sewing radio show. We're honored to be featured as the exclusive real estate attorney and honored to be trusted by Craig and all of his top producing realtors. Our office was also featured as a super lawyer representing California's top 5% of attorneys. You may not know whether you need an attorney or not. My suggestion is you kind of have an idea whether there's a problem or a question. So I suggest if you don't know whether you need an attorney or not, give us a call. We're happy to pick up the phone, give you a call back, figure out what it is that you need to have addressed. If we can't or don't know the issue, then we can definitely point you in the right direction. Our phone number is 619-866-3444. That's 619-866-3444, and that's GuptaLC.com. GUPTALC.com.
Hey, Craig Sewing here. Look, I get asked all the time from craigsewing.com, who is my CPA? I got to tell you, this guy is the savant of tax planning. He's not just a CPA that does all the paperwork. He will actually help you coordinate a full-blown tax plan and asset protection. I have never referred anybody to Doug Jennings that was not able to reduce their taxes. Not once. And I've never heard anything negative. I give my highest recommendation to Doug Jennings at JenningsTaxLaw.com. You got to reach out to him, a free consultation, and you'll see you might be able to cut your tax liability in half. Ethically, legally, it just takes a plan. Doug Jennings, JenningsTaxLaw.com. Reach out to him today, JenningsTaxLaw.com.
Welcome back to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM1170 The Answer. In our next segment, we're going to talk about one of the most enigmatic loan products on the market today, and those are reverse mortgages. Now, I know a lot of people have heard a lot of things, good and bad, about reverse mortgages, but let me tell you, I believe in them. I don't necessarily think that reverse mortgages are for every single person, but I do believe that the benefit of them that can be provided to the people who do need them is life-changing. It literally can alter one's life. Let me give you an example of how much I believe in reverse mortgages. My mother is 66 years old, and she lives in Kansas City, Missouri. She recently approached me and telling me that she's, her and her husband, my stepfather, are on a fixed income now. And she didn't know what to do, and she was struggling, and it took, she's a proud woman. It took a lot for her to ask me this. And she asked me what I thought she should do. And the first thing I asked her, I said, well, how much equity, I said, is your house paid off? And it's not yet. They still have 8 years left of payments. And since my stepfather got a 15-year loan on it, the payments are kind of high for them. So they're paying off their house, but right now she's 66. By the time the house is paid off, she's going to be 75. So I told her, I said, well, have you considered a reverse mortgage? And she immediately was like, oh, I've heard about those. And I said, well, what did you hear about them? Well, I heard they're nasty. They're terrible. And I said, well, first of all, Mother, I said, I'm an attorney, a licensed California attorney. I'm a mortgage broker, and I'm a real estate broker. And I am asking you, have you heard of them? And she's like, well, I have, and I just heard all bad things. And I'm like, do you think that you're my mother? Do you think I would actually recommend something to you that was bad for you? And, she was a little resistant. We went through and talked about it quite a bit. I told her about the pros and cons of them. And I told her that it can literally change your life. It can literally, you could go from having a huge house payment to having no house payment for as long as you guys live in the house, and actually getting money back to help supplement your life. It's a huge swing in your net income per month. So, she's considering it, and, she was still a little bit skeptical at the end. And I told her, Mom, I'm not licensed to help you with a reverse mortgage in Missouri. I will not make a single dime off of this. I have no financial interest whatsoever in if you get a reverse mortgage or not. And I said, but I'm still telling you, it can alter your life. I said, you have enough money right now to pay all your bills. I said, but how often do you guys go out to dinner? How often do you guys go and travel? How often do you guys go visit your grandchildren? How often do you do things that you should be doing in your golden years? And she's like, well, we don't have I know you don't have the resources to do it. This is a perfect way for you to do it. So I said, at least request more information or investigating it. So, that's definitely what she's doing. So just in case you couldn't tell, I'm very passionate about the fact that a reverse mortgage can literally be life-changing to some people. So I guess one of the main questions is, well, what is it, and what are the eligibility requirements? Well, a reverse mortgage is a negative amortization loan. Basically, what that means is you don't make payments. The payments are added onto your principal balance at the end of each month. So whatever interest payment you should have paid gets tacked onto your mortgage, your unpaid principal balance, along with whatever distribution that you're getting on a monthly basis. So, a lot of people are like, well, that means my principal balance going up. Yes, it does. I mean, that is what it is. Your principal balance will go up. Your equity will decrease over time. But the value that it gives you and allowing you to live off of it now And because a lot of people say things like this, well, I want to travel, but I'm going to wait until I'm older. I'm going to wait until I'm 65, 70 years old to travel. But here's the deal. You can't rely on that. You never know what's going to happen in the future. You need to live now, and you need to really enjoy your life, because who knows what can happen. And especially if you're around the age, 65, 66, 67, use your time, the good years, and travel and enjoy your life. Take the stress off. So, you have the negative amortization aspect of the reverse mortgage. So who are eligible for these? Well, the first thing is you have to be age 62 years or older. So, and that makes sense because these loans are negatively amortized, and, the people who lend on these are lending because of, the finite amount of time that they'll have to lend, and they base the amount that they could lend based on expected life expectancies and things like that. The second thing you need, is to have a paid off house or a considerable amount of equity in the home. So you don't necessarily have to have your house completely paid off, just like my mom. Her house is not completely paid off, but she has a lot of equity there. So she's able to do it. And if you have a paid off house, just as good. You also have to exhibit or demonstrate the financial resources to be able to continue to pay your property taxes, insurance, HOA, utilities, and upkeep costs of the home. This is where a lot of the horror stories about reverse mortgages came to be, because a lot of people got reverse mortgages and they were under the mistaken belief that their reverse mortgage also included their payments for their property taxes, insurance, and other ancillary costs like HOA fees, things like that. It does not include those fees. So that is why you started hearing a lot of stories about, people losing their houses because through default. It was through property tax defaults, things like that. They didn't know that they or at least that's what they say. They didn't know that they were supposed to be making these payments. So let's be clear. If you get a reverse mortgage, you are responsible for your property taxes, insurance, HOA, and upkeep costs of the house. So that is very important, and it's a theme that whenever I sit with somebody to talk to them about reverse mortgage, I mention it like 20 times, and I repeat myself so many times. They're like, why do you keep repeating yourself? Because I want to make sure you know. I don't want you to get yourself into a position that you think that something's happening a certain way, and it's not. But now they recently changed the rules that you have to have a financial analysis to make sure that you have enough net income available to make these payments. In other words, they don't want to set you up for failure. They want to make sure that you know that you're supposed to pay them, and two, you have the financial resources to do so. So that is a very important aspect of them. The next thing is it has to be a primary residence of the borrower. You have to live in the property. These are not for non-owner occupied homes. You have to live in the property. Another eligibility requirement is you cannot be delinquent on any federal debt. So if you're delinquent on federal debt, it could cause a problem for you. And lastly, you have to receive information from a HECM counselor prior to obtaining the loan. The HECM is the reverse mortgage program through the FHA. So now I think this is a really good thing, because what you do by putting this HECM counselor in place is you make sure that borrowers have an independent third party to hear information from, to make sure that they fully understand what they're getting into. Now, I go through this very extensively with people, much more extensively than I can, on this show. And I just repeat myself a lot because I want to make sure that everybody understands what they're getting into. And that is the same thing that the HECM counselor does. He or she makes sure that the borrower fully understands how the product works, how it relates, and things like that. So I think that is a really good aspect of this loan, so that basically people can really understand, what they're getting into. So I want to talk a little bit about myths and misconceptions of reverse mortgages, because as you mentioned, as I mentioned earlier with my mother who said, "Oh, I've heard about those." I mean, there's a lot of misinformation out there. So one of the myths that's out there is that a reverse mortgage borrower is going to lose title to their home. No, that's not true. The borrower retains title to the property. The reverse mortgage is just like any other loan secured by a dwelling. It's only a lien against the property. So you will not lose title to your property by getting a reverse mortgage. Number two, since the loan, or myth number two, since the loan negatively amortizes, the loan balance could exceed the value of the property, making the borrower and heirs responsible for the deficiency when the reverse mortgage comes due and payable. What that means is basically at some point in time, if you outlive your life expectancy, I'm just see my producer's just waving at me and just got me off track for a second. So I got to unfortunately, I don't have time to get through everything I necessarily want to get through on these. But just to finish up that thought, reverse mortgages, if you exceed the life expectancy, it could be very possible that the amount you owe on your loan will be higher than what your home's value is. And no, you will not be responsible, nor will your heirs. It's a non-recourse loan. And I tell you what, because we're running out of time this week, we'll talk about this in greater detail next week, next Wednesday at 8 p.m. We'll talk a little bit more about this so I can get, in greater detail with you. So I want to thank Vittorio from Vigilucci's and Leucadia from coming in. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM1170 The Answer. You can listen to my show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. I will be back next week to talk about more things related to real estate. And if you would like to send me some information or want me to address a topic on the show, please feel free to email me at michael@michaelgaddis.com or visit my website at www.michaelgaddis.com. Again, this has been the Michael Gaddis Show. Good night, San Diego.